Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Common Man's Compass with David
and Justin. This is a great podcast, guys. It's a podcast navigating life, faith, and everything in between. A conversation where anything goes. You never know what we're going to talk about. There's no telling. But we always try to keep God in it and keep God involved.
And we're glad you're here.
All right, what's going on, everybody? It's going to be a great podcast today. It's Justin here. Got, as usual, old David over there.
Aloha.
And today we are interviewing a guy named Blue.
That's me.
That's right, that is Blue. He's also a preacher. He's an awesome dude.
But depends on who you ask.
But you said his name wrong.
Oh, yeah?
It's Blue. B-L-U, not B-L-U-E.
That's right.
Well,
although
you said it wrong.
Someone just recorded it today. I saw they wrote it down as B-L-E-U. And it made me feel kind of French. I don't know why.
Blue.
Yes. I'm going to start saying, "You're my boy, Blue." Oh, my goodness. Well, how was your day today, bro?
Man, it was a good day. So Monday morning, it's really hard to have a good day on a Monday if you're a preacher, because that's when most of them retire and quit and walk off the job. So it's tough. Mondays are tough, but this was a good one.
Heck
Nice.
yeah. Right on, man. Well, tell us a little bit about yourself, man. So what got you into being a preacher?
Oh man, that's a big question.
That is a big question. Well, you can pick that
The
apart how
answer is
you want.
Jesus.
Okay.
Jesus got me into it, and he tricked me into it. How about that?
That's a good.
Yeah.
That's an interesting
Okay.
answer. I got to hear this.
Not just in terms of being in ministry in general. I became a believer when I was 9 years old, and knew like this is something that's going to change my life. Whenever I became a Christian, so
Okay.
I'm just rocking along, trying to follow the Lord best I can as a teenager and stuff. And people are like, "Man, you are going to be a preacher one day, Blue." And I'm like, "No, I am not going to be a preacher. I'll be anything. Like I've got dreams. I still have dreams of being a pilot one day, being the president of the United States. A news anchor would be awesome. Like I got all kinds of dreams that are out there. And
For the record, I would vote for you.
Okay. All right.
As you can tell, I wanted to be a pirate.
Pirate would be
I mean, it's super awesome.
Yeah.
Vacation every day.
just out on the ocean.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Taking out rich people, getting their money. I mean, it's great.
That's terrible.
But I feel like we shouldn't give up on our dreams. So
Okay.
Right.
in fact, aren't they have pirates over in the Middle East right now that are like,
Yeah.
Yes.
they're still there.
Somalian
There's modern,
pirates.
yes.
Yeah.
Well, and now that I've done some research, I don't want to be a pirate anymore.
Oh,
I want to be a buccaneer.
What's the difference?
A piece of paper that says you belong to this country or that country. You're doing the same piracy. It's just you're working for somebody.
what about this? Okay. You know how we're creating an embargo in Venezuela right now, right? Like where it's like they're trying to sneak out oil to go to Iran and to Russia. And all this.
It's so
But
funny.
we have our people are going and boarding the vessels and then taking control of them.
Yeah.
If Uncle Sam called and wanted some help there, David, would you answer the call and become
Oh, yeah.
a buccaneer for the United States?
Yes. 100%.
All right.
Hey, matey.
That's good.
I always loved it because I was listening to Queen Elizabeth the First, and she has no ties with piracy, but she was over them. Like, her nickname was the Queen of Pirates because she was telling the audience, we're against this. We're against piracy. We need class. We need to go get them. We're doing great.
That just means that she's just a diplomat because everybody does that, right?
Oh, yeah.
All of the politicians do that. Every leader for every country, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Not our president.
And now we're canceled.
All right.
Cancel.
See, okay, so we're gonna have to bring this back to Jesus here
Yeah,
because
right.
otherwise the conversation is very shortly going to venture
Yes.
into Epstein waters.
Oh,
And so
100%.
That's that was what I was thinking of people interacting with other foreign
we had
governments.
something about that, but it got lost.
Okay. So anyway, so everybody's like, "Hey, man, you're going to be a preacher." I'm like, "Nah, I am not going to be a preacher." So I went to Texas A&M University. There, I went in as a math major. thinking, man, I'm going to study mathematics, loved math. And my very first semester took Calculus 2 at A&M, coming from a very small school out in West Texas to Calculus 2. Made a D, barely, and immediately changed my major to general studies. I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to do with my life. After that first semester, I married my beautiful wife, Darby. We've been married now for 25 years. And so we got married. And after a while, she told me, she's like, Bloom, it's embarrassing being married to a general studies major. Like, you got to pick something, right? And so I'm like, okay. So I pick speech communication. Nice. Super. It's the easiest thing that you can do. All you do is just stand up and talk in front of people. And so I'm like, man, I can do that. No problem. So got a speech communication degree, and I get ready to graduate. And I told Darby, I'm like, man, I don't know what I'm going to do with my life. Like, what do you do with a degree in speech communication? Like this was, by the way, before the era of podcasting. So it's like,
now you could make a fortune.
I would be so rich.
Why don't you start a podcast?
And I'd rather just support y'all's. So
I
want you guys to be rich, and then tithe to the church.
I'm never going to be rich. I'm too stupid.
That works.
So I told Darby, I was like, here's what I can do, based on my skill set. I can take orders at a drive-through, and I can be really good at it, but that's about it because it's speech communication.
Right.
And so she's like, well, why don't we just take a mission trip? You know, we were involved in our church. We were working with youth. We were teaching Sunday school classes, and I'm like, okay, I've never been on a mission trip before. And so we start looking around, seeing things, go through the whole process. Anyway, we applied to the International Mission Board, Southern Baptist Mission Sending Agency. And they were at the time sending people on a 3 to 6 month mission trip. They would pay for your ticket over there. They would provide you a place to stay. You had to come up with your own food while you were there. But otherwise, you're taken care of. You're paired up with a full-term missionary, like a career missionary.
That's nice. So cool.
Oh, yeah. I was like, bro, 3 months? I can do this. So anyway, we go through a big, long application process, and then they fly us to Virginia to have a candidate conference, which was pretty cool, where they open up books from all over the world and say, here's where we have needs. Go tell us where you feel like God is calling you to. Anyway, so it's like a 3-day conference right there where you're like mingling with missionaries and talking about needs across the world. Mm-hmm. But one of the first things they told us was, due to budget cutbacks, we are only sending people on a 2-year mission trip, 2 to 3 years. We're going to get you over all the cost of training you, all that kind of stuff. So you got to go and stay. And I'd never been on a mission trip in my life.
Yeah.
And so
in 2 years?
Yes. So,
wow.
So it's like, yeah, okay, you're going to go. And we were thinking, oh, look, we'll go down to Mexico or something. We spoke a lot of Spanish, something like that. 3 months down in Mexico sounds more like a vacation than a mission trip or whatever, but that's all right. And we got there and they said, no, it's got to be 2 years. And then we looked, and there's just such a need in Africa for dealing with youth, which we were involved in. And so we signed up for a 2-year mission trip with the International Mission Board to go to Zambia, Africa.
Oh, my goodness.
And have you guys ever been on an international mission trip before?
Well, one time I went to Mexico.
Okay. All right. With a church?
Yes.
All right.
Yeah, with the church.
What were you guys doing down there?
So I was a kid. I was super young, and they sent us over there. There was apparently a church down there. There was something about some water damage in the building.
You just told me this story,
I did
didn't
just
you?
tell you this
yes,
story.
Yes, you did.
And I was young, and I wasn't really following God. I was just going to church, and they said, hey, we're going to Mexico, and my mom said I could go, and I was like, I've never been to Mexico, and so we go down there, and we end up in a border town, and that's where the church is, and they wound up we get there, and while we're there, it gets late. Well, they start locking the doors of the church to lock us in, and I asked the person that's leading us, and I was like, hey, so why are they locking the doors like they're locking us in here? And she said, oh, so the gorillas don't come and get you. And at first I was like, gorillas, because I'm still a kid. I'm like, I'm young. I'm probably like 14. And I'm like random, razorback gorillas running around Mexico. And she's like, no. That's a term for people that will come take you because they think your family's rich or something. And I was like, well, we're not that. I'm poor.
Right.
We eat mac and cheese and beans and weenies, man. Yeah. So, and of course, I'm dumb. Everybody falls asleep. We climb out a window.
Go see the real Mexico.
Right, yeah. And then came back and got back in. And then later on, we woke up and went outside and, we ended up, we helped them out. And that's one of the things that bugs me when it comes to people going on mission trips. I feel like you have to make sure that the people going on the mission trip aren't just having a vacation.
Right.
We were there. We got to run around Mexico for a little while, talk to people, say hi. Most of these people, actually almost every one of them I encountered, didn't speak any English, because it's another country. And so we end up... we come up on this sheetrock pile that they want moved from one area to the next, and it's just weather-rotted sheetrock. So we moved it all. It took us about 20 or 30 minutes, and then we went to a water park in Mexico that apparently has no rules, or at least we didn't speak the language to know we were doing wrong.
No, hold on a second. Just a follow-up question here. You went to a water park, like in Mexico. Like, is it possible to go to a water park and not drink the water?
I don't know, but I can tell you Montezuma's curse. That's a real thing.
It's a thing.
Dude,
All right.
I held out until the last day, and I was super thirsty, and then we didn't have any bottled water, so I drank out of the faucet. And, because, I'm a kid.
14 years
grow
old.
up, yeah, that's what you do. And I was okay until I got closer to home. Like, we're on our way home. This is the day of that happening. And I'm good. I start getting closer to home. I get to the house, and it's like I got to go right now, and it's terrible. I wouldn't wish that on a dog.
Okay, well then here's what I would say for that. That might have been a legitimate mission trip for some people. Probably not for you. That's not a
yeah.
You ever
Totally
been on
not.
one, David?
I went to Alabama.
That's almost like a
and
foreign country.
We did a week vacation, or what's it called? Vacation Bible School.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
VBS there.
We went down. Our preacher, he was from that part of Alabama. I won't blame.
Okay.
And so we went down there, and I didn't teach anything. They dressed me up as a clown, and I danced around with a bunch of kids
All right.
while they were.
How old were you?
I think I was like 13.
Okay.
13, 14.
All right. So here's what you'll find though on a mission trip. You go on your first mission trip right there, where you're like seeking to serve God, and you're thinking about eternal things like deeply for maybe the first time in your life, of like, man, these people that I'm interacting with have no idea if they are going to wind up in hell, what will happen with them. And so anyway, your first mission trip will mess you up. And so that's what happened was I'm 2 years in thinking about how to serve the Lord best, how to reach these people, and I went over thinking I'm never going to be in ministry, and then came back thinking I can't see myself not being in ministry somehow. So anyway, all that to say, God tricked me into it, because I wasn't going to be a minister or pastor or anything like that, and so I don't consider myself to be like a pastor per se. Like, I feel like I'm just following Jesus for the best, for whatever he opens up in front of me for the most effective opportunity for advancing the gospel.
That is the coolest thing I have ever heard. I'm sorry, because I'll explain why, and then I'll let you continue. But there's so many people that look over and they forget that a preacher's a normal person like everybody else.
Yeah.
You have the same struggles, you know what I mean? And they forget that. And so they put the preacher on a pedestal. And I love to hear you say that you're like, I don't consider myself that. I just consider myself, I'm moving to the next thing God's putting in my way.
Well, okay,
You
so
know?
we spent 10 years over in Africa doing mission work. So
Right.
that 2 years, and then led into a whole other thing. And so we were there for a long time.
Yeah.
But that was the most frustrating part of coming back home, is that we try to speak at churches, raise some funds, tell what's going on out there, all that kind of stuff. But everybody would just get so nervous that there's an actual real life missionary in our presence. Like, I would go into to Sunday school classes, and nobody would say anything because they're scared that they're going to say the wrong answer in front of the missionary. And I'm like, y'all, all I am is somebody who's trying to follow Jesus, and it happens to be overseas. Right.
Right.
So it's the same thing though, even here. And when I came back, I told my wife, I'm like, I do not want to be a quote unquote pastor or on staff somewhere at a church, because everybody just treats you differently, right? It's like, I want to be somebody who's like, I'm a follower of Jesus, a carpenter, maybe doing whatever work we're doing, but I'm a follower of Jesus, just trying to live my life and raise my kids. But anyway,
That's awesome.
So my question before we get too further, when when y'all went there, did y'all know it was going to be 2 years on the way there, or did you, when you got there, it was?
No, so when they told us that was at our candidate conference. So it was in Virginia. We had a weekend-long thing that we were supposed to go down there and to pick where we're going to be at and stuff. So then they said, hey, if you're going to be a part of this, it's got to be 2 years.
So how did y'all decide that? Did you just say, well, we're here, or was it like?
Or did your wife go, hey, we're doing this? Or were you like, was it an equal where y'all both came to the conclusion?
It's going to be an equal thing, although this is kind of an interesting thing because Darby always felt like she was going to be on the mission field. Like from the time she was young, she learned about missionaries, and she was learning Swahili and different languages and all this stuff so that she could be on the mission field. So she always kind of had that desire and that calling. I've never considered.
Right.
I love America, y'all. Like I cannot think of any reason other than God calling you to actually leave this country and go somewhere else. Like you couldn't pay me enough money to go live overseas. So, but Darby married someone who's willing to follow Jesus, and I married somebody who's willing to follow Jesus. And so it's like we had never considered, we'd never talked about it as a couple of saying, hey, we're going to be on the mission field sometime or whatever. But it was, I knew her heart and she knew my heart. And so even now, even being a pastor, like we never thought about that before, but hey, we're just going to follow wherever God opens the doors for us. And
that's amazing.
And so how many years total did you spend over in Zambia is where, right?
10 years.
10 years. Yeah. So something I've got to say I've wondered for a while. So because your kids were raised over there, right?
Cademan was born over there during that first 2-year stint. And then when we went back over with all 3 of our kids, because I went to seminary first, they were 4, 3, and 1 years old.
So Cademan, since he was born over there, is he a citizen of Zambia, Africa?
Well, he was born in South Africa because we flew him down there so that there could actually be a hospital where he was in. So
you didn't want to have him in a hut.
It was funny because we were living in a mud hut, like thatched roof, like
that's awesome.
It was outdoor toilets, and we drew water from a well. It was very rural. And the ladies, when Darby was pregnant, they're just like, are you going to have your baby in your home or to the local clinic? Which is the clinic is just like a little building. I mean, they don't have running water there.
Poor Darby.
Yes. And she's like, I'm going to a hospital. But that was the IMB. They take care of their missionaries, which is one of the great things of Southern Baptists. And so they sent her down there. And then he was born down in South Africa. So he had dual citizenship for a while.
What happened to that? Does that just expire? Or?
I think at 18 you got to formally declare.
And he declared America.
Yeah, I mean, look, and it was during Obama's time, so I almost told him, hey, you maybe consider South Africa. No.
Yeah, this country's going in the wrong direction.
On here?
Yeah, absolutely.
It was a joke, y'all. Yeah. It was a joke.
We can even talk about how cool Matt Walsh is. I love Matt Walsh.
So anyway,
speaking up, I need some ice.
Okay. Right. So he was there, but yeah, they were 4, 3, and 1. So yeah, we went over with young kids. Kason learned to walk there.
Holy cow!
So
how difficult was that raising children in Africa?
Dude, I think that actually there was a lot of things looking back that it was much easier in some respects, harder in some respects, but much easier because we naturally did things that I don't think I would have been smart enough to do if I was here in America. Like, for instance, there were no phones or tablets, right? It was just, even though that was becoming a thing here in the States,
right.
we didn't have one. I think our kids, whenever they were, after we had been there for, I don't know, 5 or 6 years or whatever, they got their first little mini iPads. And so, like, and my brother got them for them for Christmas or whatever. And so it's like they had that, and it was like this whole new thing to them, but there was no internet. So it was like, they could play, what's that thing where you just collect coins? And it's Subway Surfer, And so so they would do that, but we didn't have to deal with that kind of stuff. Instead, the kids were out there and they were jumping on the trampoline. They were climbing trees. It's one of their favorite games to play. Is you climb a tree, and then you try to see how many trees you can get to before you have to hit the ground. So you go from one tree and just in the branches as they meet another one. And then to make it more interesting than the other kids, because they were raised at an orphanage, and so there's other orphans all around, they would sit down on the ground and they would throw rocks up at you to try to knock you out of the tree.
That is amazing.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so those are the kind of things they were doing, and I'm just like, oh yeah, this is great. So they, in a lot of respects, it was a lot easier because they didn't have to deal with anything that.
Right.
I bet
Kids
it was
going
hard for them when they came back. Did they have like an adjustment period?
Yeah, and actually probably even more than what they tell us, like because they will say this to you, like if you're considering going overseas to be a missionary or whatever, if your kid is more than 10 years old, you shouldn't take them.
Right.
Because they've been raised in a certain culture and they're there, and so then you're transplanting them to and
It's a culture shock.
yeah,
Yeah.
The IMB at least, they won't send missionaries who have kids that are 10 years or older.
Really?
They have to
good.
be younger. So, which makes sense to me coming from America, but I never considered what it would be like for them coming back, because that's basically what we did. Our kids were 13 and 12 and 10 or something, and we bring them back to America.
Right.
And so then it's like they've got to make this adjustment right here. So I think it was probably more difficult for them than I thought that it was going to be.
Right. And kids are cruel around that age. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just cruel.
Yeah, nobody wants to come back to junior high. That's what it is. We came and threw our kids into middle school, and like, oh, that's the worst.
Oh, yeah.
See, and that's where my kids are. They're around that age,
Yeah.
and they pick on me all the time. I mean, they're mean.
Oh, your kids are mean to you.
That age, it's like,
Yeah.
oh, old man, why are you combing your hair? You have none. It's like, come on.
So, but like when they're overseas, though, they're only exposed to the things that we would expose them to.
Right.
And so, literally, my oldest was about 10 years old or something, and he writes a letter to Tiffany Amber Thiessen. Do you remember who that is? Oh. Yeah, she was Kelly Kapowski in Saved by the Bell.
Okay.
You remember Saved by the Bell? You guys are
Oh,
probably
yeah.
a
I
little bit
remember
too
Saved
young.
by the
Y'all are a
Bell.
little
No.
bit too young. Okay.
no,
Yeah.
I remember.
This is like core memories from the 90s, baby. This is like everybody wanted to date Kelly Kapowski.
What was the name of the guy? He ended up getting in trouble, and then he passed
Zach?
away here a while back. No, the one that has the
Oh,
curly
Screech?
hair.
Oh, yeah,
Screech. Thank
yes.
you.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yes. So, yeah. Anyway, so our kids grew up watching Saved by the Bell and Family Matters. They're big
So
Steve
they
Urkel
were
fans.
watching stuff from when, like, we were
Yes,
little.
the only things
but
I would give to them. Yeah.
But reruns.
Awesome.
But yeah, but so Boy Meets World. Oh, they love
my
Boy
gosh.
Meets World was
That's-
a great show.
yeah, it
Actually,
really
to go
was.
back and look,
Yeah.
there's a lot of really good, solid things in there. So
I miss how television used to be. Like, I was telling someone the other day that back before my generation, the kid would screw up and go to the dad, like, father knows best. And the dad would be like, well, you messed up. Glad you came here. Here's how to fix it.
Uh-huh.
And then it slowly progressed to the parents being the stupid one, making mistakes, and the kids correcting them. And it's like, we need to go reverse that.
Yeah.
But, like, there was a sweet spot in the 90s, like Family Matters, Step by Step, all of those that were good, wholesome shows. But everyone's later on started going, oh, this is too cheesy. And it's like, no, that's how it's supposed to be.
right, yeah.
You're supposed to mess up and go to your parents. Just
Yeah.
like when we mess up, we're supposed to go to God.
There you go. Yep.
I think it's important to have a good relationship with your kids, and I think you and your kids have a wonderful relationship, from what I can tell. My daughter, she's 6, and I think we have a really good relationship. But something I try to instill in her is you can always come to me. Like, I don't care what it is, we can talk about it. I'll help you. But on the same note, if you messed up, I'm sorry. I'm glad you came to me and you were honest. And it's funny because when we were kids, you hear that if you tell me the truth, you're not in as much trouble.
Yeah, I don't
but
believe
you're
you.
like, man, I still got in a whole bunch of trouble. But, and now looking back, you're like, no, it does make sense. Yeah. You, as a parent, you can say, I understand. There is leniency. You're still in trouble, but there's leniency.
Well, I look at both of you guys though, and I think y'all have. It seems like good relationships with your daughters.
Yes.
Like, yeah, which takes work though. Like I remember,
Yes.
so I've got the 2 boys and a girl, but I can remember whenever my daughter was, probably 8 or 9 years old, and I'm the boys are playing football, and we're trying to play basketball and that kind of stuff, and Camry's over there and she's knitting, or she's wanting to have tea parties and stuff like that, and I'm like. I told my wife, I'm like, me and her don't have anything in common. I'm going to have to work at this. And so I instituted a Fab 5 rule for us. And so I told Cambria, I said, every night I'm coming to your room, and we're going to lay down, and you're going to talk for 5 minutes. Well, I would set a timer. And so we would just, and all of my kids, every kid I think is like this. You get them in their room at night, and they'll just want to just chatter.
Yeah, that's
and
true.
They will just tell.
Yes.
Probably because they're trying to get out of going to bed.
Probably.
But it's fine. You can get so much good information out of them and stuff.
Yeah.
And so Cambry got to where she loved that time. She still talks about that time. And
That's awesome.
she would want, okay, the Fab 5 turns into Fab 10, and 15, where it's like she's just telling me about her day and what she's going through, because it's a whole different world that I can't relate to. And so I don't know the questions to ask. And so I'm like, okay, I'm going to carve out intentional time so that we can talk.
Yeah.
Right.
Were you sitting down doing tea parties and stuff with her?
I have done my fair share of tea parties.
I have no judgment here. I have helped my daughter with so many Barbies and let her dress up and dress me up. She'll come in the living room and she'll be like, Dad, you have to wear this crown. And I'm like, oh yeah. And she's like, but you have to come play with me. And I'm like, okay, well, let's go. So I go in her room, and whatever the game is, that's what we're doing.
I didn't have any of that.
Yeah, I didn't either, but I
No.
feel like it's our job to give it back.
My main problem was, like, Madison is so much like-minded like me that we just click. And Grace, we don't really click. She is very emotional, very needs attention. Like, not attention. She's just needs more attention.
She needs more affection.
Right. And she told me one day, because I always like, hey, I'm going to go to the store, and Madison don't even ask. She just hops in the truck. Let's go. Well, Grace is like, I feel like you don't like me.
She told you that, though?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, at least she
And
was cool
That's
enough to
good.
be like,
Yeah, that's what you want, actually.
yeah.
Because I noticed that she was like really upset. And I'm like, why are you upset? What's going on? She's like, I don't think you like me. She's like, I know you love me, but I don't think you like me. And I was like, baby girl, I do like you. We just don't have much in common.
Yes.
And I was like, well, how can we fix this?
There you go. Did you ask her?
Yeah. And she said, it would be nice if you would take me out.
There you go.
And I said, all right. And so I took Madison. We went to the gas station, and we came back. I said, Grace, get ready. We're going to go. And I said, wherever you want to go, we'll go. And so we haven't done it in a while, but I would, like, once a month, me and Grace would just go on a date. And she'd get all dressed up. And I'm like, I said, do I have to get dressed up? She said, you see what I'm wearing? I'm like, all right. All right, I'm going to go get a shirt. But
I can't hate. We do the same thing. I take Embry on, we call them daddy-daughter dates. I take her on daddy-daughter dates. And she loves it. And that's, for her, that's her Fab 5. Or her, hey, we're going out once a month, and we go wherever you want to go. I'll just, and me, it's not a monthly thing or a weekly thing. It's really random. We might go on like 6 of them a month, or we might go on 3 of them a month. I'll just look at her and go, you want to go on a daddy-daughter date? Or she'll come to me and be like, Dad, can we go on a daddy-daughter date today? Mom's at work. And I'm like, well, I'm off work. I don't see why we can't. Where you want to go? What do you want to do?
It's one of those things that you think about it, and it takes it takes effort.
It does.
Because it's so much easier just to be like, nah, I'm tired, man. I can't do this right now, or to tell them, we'll do it next week. I promise we'll do it next week, right?
Yeah.
But honestly, y'all, if I can just say a little bit to you young guys out there, right there, because y'all are right in the middle of it, right? And I'm going to be an empty nester here in 3 months.
I forget you've got some years on us.
That's right. Oh yeah, I'm old, man. The most enjoyable thing I have done in my life has been raising my kids.
I agree with that.
I look back those times of where Cameron's like, oh, I'm going to dress up like a princess, and then she comes, and the princess girl is coming out, and she'll blow a little and she walks and wants to show me, and I'm like, I can remember during those times being like, oh man, this is like, I'm about to fall asleep. Right?
You're like, this is the most boring thing I've ever seen.
But it was like it was the best time of my life, best thing I've done, hands down, raising kids.
right.
Most enjoyable thing.
See, I like to hear that. That's good. And that's, and that's kind of how I feel with my kiddo, man. With kids, you're going to have some tough times. There's going to be things that you're going to be like, bro, what are you doing?
Yes.
The good part about that, though, is I feel like that makes good memories and good stories. There's one that I've told a million times, and I'll say it again. It's so funny. My daughter, she was about 4, and she asked me, we're in the car and we're going somewhere. And she goes, Dad, why does the sun do what the sun does? And I'm like, that's a pretty big question.
That is.
And I said, what do you mean? And she
nuclear
goes,
fission? Did you say nuclear fission?
That's what I should have said. But no, so I told her, I said, what are you getting at, girlfriend? And she goes, well, it's really bright and it hurts when I look at it. And
and Daddy, now I can't see at all. Daddy, everything is dark. What is happening? Is that how we?
You're right. Yeah, I'd have been way funnier. But no, she was like, it hurts. It's really bright and it hurts when I look at it, and it is hot. And I said, yeah. I said, well, what do you want to know? She said, well, why does it do that stuff? And I said, well, you're kind of young, so you're not going to understand if I tell you. Well, for instance, nuclear fission. You're not going to understand. I said, so the best thing I can tell you is Jesus makes the sun shine, girlfriend. That's what he does. And she goes, that's cool. And I said, do you want to know something else that's cool? And she goes, what's that? And I said, did you know that the sun is also a star? She said, no, it's not. It's a circle.
She's like, my dad
Right.
is just not very smart, man. Like,
Dude, and all I could do was go, you're right.
Right.
That's funny.
So I wanted to talk about, I want to start this thing, and it's the word of the week. So everyone can think about it, chew on it. And so this week's word, I came up with leadership. And I think this this goes right into fatherhood. Wikipedia says leadership is defined as the ability of an individual, group, or organization to influence or guide other individuals, groups, or organizations. So that helps on my phone. So I was wondering what's biblical, like what the Bible defines leadership. And it says, in the Bible, leadership is defined as humble, sacrificial service to others. Mirroring Jesus' example of washing feet, focus on influencing people towards God's purpose, not power, emphasizing integrity, wisdom, courage, and obedience to God's will. And then it says, here's some of the core principles: servanthood. Leaders are called to serve, putting the needs of others first, like Jesus washing the feet. Humility, recognizing dependence on God, not self-importance. God's center purpose, leading to fulfill God's plan, not personal ambition. So what do y'all think? What would you define leadership?
Take it away, Blue.
as a leader,
As a preacher, in your own words.
Well, I mean, there's
for retarded people like me.
there's different definitions of leadership, right? I mean, you just read it from. Oh, look, there's dictionary definition of it, and here's what the Bible presents. Jesus even says, "Look, you're not supposed to be rulers like the Gentiles who just lord their authority over other people." To say, "Oh, look, the reason." It's more, I guess, of a motivation. The reason why I'm a leader, is it so that you can serve me, or is it so that I can serve you? There's a difference of that, right? And so I think it's probably I like one of the first things that you read in there, though, of saying that, look, it's pointing people to do something for God's kingdom, right? So to me, a leader is going to be, how can I help in terms of children? How can I help my children? I'm going to lead them. That means I'm going to strategize, and I'm going to pray, and I'm going to plan about how I can make them successful in God's kingdom.
Nice.
That's what it is.
Cool.
And so it has nothing to do with, man, is my kid doing what I say, like, because we used to obey right away without delay. I don't know if y'all ever did that with your kids. Yeah, we were telling or are they going to sit still in church, throughout the whole service? Because I can remember getting so mad at my kids, because they would, like, we're missionaries, we're at these, and then they're just like, I don't know, they're kids, right? And they're
That's something I try to keep in mind, like with my daughter. I've had this conversation with people before. You have to remember what it was like when you were her age. And so, yes, she needs to know, to understand this is what you need to do during this time, and this is what you're going to do. But you also got to remember, she is 6.
Right.
Like how
Yeah.
hard that is to sit still and go, all right, I'm not going to do nothing. I'm going to be bored and I'm going to listen to this guy talk about things that I don't even understand, you know.
Right.
And so,
But it's difficult though, because we can very easily fall into a trap of, look, a good leader is going to get somebody to do what you tell them to do.
Right.
And that's, I mean, at some point, at 6 years old, that's a big part of what leadership means, because you got to teach a kid, hey,
Yeah.
there's an authority structure that you have to come under. But really, the ultimate goal is, how can I get my daughter to be beneficial to the kingdom? Like, how can I make her successful in God's kingdom?
Agreed.
And so
I
it's
love
gonna
that.
it'll change as they get older. It'll be more of like, not necessarily just automatically doing things without thinking, but reasoning it out and thinking, okay, what's the why behind this? Why is God calling me to do these things? Why is this, right or wrong? And so that they understand things, not just, I'm going to do it just because I've been told to
Right.
Right.
all the time.
That makes sense.
I guess there is a
That
place
does make
for it.
sense.
I mean,
Yeah. Right.
Sometimes I just got to do something just because it's told, right?
Yeah.
You know.
Well, and that's like my kiddo. And when I was a kid, I didn't understand it. Now as an adult, I get it. You tell your kids stuff, to do stuff sometimes, and they're like, "Why?" Well, the rule is because I told you to. Like, that's
Yes.
all you need to know.
That's a legitimate
Like,
answer
that's
at
it.
a certain age for kids, right?
Yeah.
And even whenever they're older too, even as teenagers, sometimes that is the perfect answer.
Yeah, absolutely.
Although for teenagers, a lot of times more it's going to be, well, let's sit down and talk about this. Or let's see, tell me what you think would be best and beneficial as you're following God in this area.
Yeah. With Embry, there's quite a few things where I have to be like, hey, yeah, don't do this. Well, why not? Because I told you not to.
Right.
That's like, sorry
Yes.
about your luck. She's generally pretty good in this story, but there are occasions where she's not, and she's grabbing for things. And I'm like, don't touch that.
Yeah.
Why? Because it's not yours.
Yeah.
But why can't I? Because I told you not to. End of story.
But the honest truth is, when we think about our relationship with God, there
Yeah.
are some. God's not going to explain to us why on everything,
Right.
right? So
Right,
there are
no,
some.
yeah.
At some level, we have to understand.
Otherwise-
Okay, He's saying this. I'm going to agree with it just because God told me to.
Yeah, otherwise we'd have heard the rest of Melchizedek's story.
That's right. There's a lot of unknown things, right?
Right.
It says there.
I literally had a guy ask me one time. We were talking, and I was kind of witnessing to him a little bit, and he said that was one of his problems, and it really caught me off guard because that's the only time that question's ever been asked. And he said, I want to know why we don't ever find out what happens to Melchizedek. We don't know. We don't hear anything about him. He's there, and then he's gone. And I was like,
Did you know
I just told him, I was like, I guess God didn't find that pertinent to be in the Bible. Like, God knows it, but if he didn't think that was important enough to help him get his message across, I guess it didn't need to be in there.
David has a good explanation for this. Though.
Let's hear this.
he pops up in the New Testament?
He does.
They talk about it, and they talk about how he was an image of a priest king, and talking about how Jesus fulfills the eternal priest king.
Okay.
That I can't say his name. I can't even try. But he was such a crucial role because Abraham gave 10% of his stuff. He gave a tithe
Right.
to this priest king, and we are supposed to give 10% to the church.
Right.
And so there's so many different layers of it.
Yeah.
But I think the main story of it, I'm not puzzled about like who this guy was. There was a couple of random people that popped in and had cameos in the Old Testament.
Yeah.
What I'm curious about is Jesus stood and said on the order of Melchizedek
Melchizedek. Yeah.
that I will
It's a
build
hard
my
name.
church.
Yeah.
Which it's like,
Well, and
that's so crazy because it's like, wouldn't you pick your people's, like, I'm going to evolve the Jewish community? But like, he's like, no, I'm going to go down a whole different order.
Yeah, and see, that's the part he said he didn't like was that in the Old Testament he was there and then he was gone, and I was like, well, I was so caught in left field.
Well, I mean,
and
what's-
that's a super great explanation. I like that.
Yeah, one of the things that's crazy too is he's not Jewish, right? It's like
No, yeah.
it's like all of a sudden you get a little bit of a glimpse in the Old Testament that God was not just at work in the Israelite community.
Yeah.
He was at work in a lot of different nations, and so
Right.
you've got Melchizedek who's there, and he's a priest to God, or you've got Noah's father-in-law. also a priest?
I did not know.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's
I guess
like
I missed that.
Yeah, what is going on with this? Like, where did he come from? Job, you
Oh,
know,
yeah.
the
Oh, yeah.
story of Job and
Yeah.
stuff, and he's an Arab. He's the greatest of the people of the East, but he's following God. So it's like, it's interesting that the story isn't just
Oh,
about
yeah.
the Israelites. It's just that follows that because it's God's chosen people, but he's at work everywhere.
Yeah.
And you know what Melchizedek?
You're never gonna get that name right.
That's great.
Do you know what his name means?
Let's hear it.
Prince of Judgment.
That's cool.
Really?
And he was the king of Salem, which makes him the Prince of Peace.
That's awesome.
Peace and justice.
And we don't know where he came from. Like, he has no beginning and no end. That's what it says in Hebrews,
yeah.
right? You're a
Yeah.
priest forever, according to the order of Melchizedek. So it's like he is a type of Christ.
It makes you
You know,
wonder.
Jesus.
that is a conspiracy theory that Jesus was actually Melchizedek and he like popped in. That's
I could see
something
it.
I heard a while back.
Time travel.
Super conspiracy theory there.
Not time travel.
Time travel.
Not
Here
time
we go
travel.
again.
It's
Oh my
time
God.
travel.
It's called a Christophany. It's like an appearance of Christ in the Old Testament.
Right.
But you could also refer to it as time travel, I guess.
He,
Forgot about
and
those.
see,
Right, yeah, I'm like, we gotta get after it.
He time traveled back into the book of Jacob.
Yeah.
And how I know that was Jesus was because I went blank. What's his name?
That's 'cause you know it's not true.
Joshua was looking out at the city that they were about to take over, and he sees this figure up on a hill with a sword drawn. So he goes up to the guy and says, "Hey, are you a friend or foe?" He said, "Neither. I'm with God's army. I'm the commander of God's army." Well, he instantly hit the ground and started praying him. And he didn't stop him. Now, angels always stop. Like, hey, you don't do that. I'm like you. I'm actually less than you. Don't do that. So I know that's Jesus. That was time travel.
You conspiracy theorist?
Actually, yeah, there are appearances of Jesus in the Old Testament. We get just a little bit of a theological point. It's not really time travel because Jesus existed.
Right.
So he's just up in heaven. When you say time travel, no, there's an appearance of Jesus on earth. You know, like Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. 3 guys in the fire. All of a sudden, there's a 4th person shows up, and then the king says he looks like the Son of God.
Yeah.
Because there's like,
Oh, yeah.
well, who's this 4th person right here? It's Jesus.
I always look at it when people are stumbled on this. God's the artist and we're the canvas.
Yeah.
So he can put his finger in any time area.
You know, that's something I've tried to explain to people, and they don't understand is whenever they talk about how can God know all these things and know what decisions you can make and I always tell them, number one, he's God. Don't put God in a
Right.
box.
God is
God
God.
does
Right.
not have human limitations that we do. And I always tell them, just like David was talking, like he sees the whole picture. He's not looking at the boat in the corner of the painting. He can see the whole thing. So he knows he knows these are the outcomes of whichever road you take. He knows exactly where that's going to lead. You do have the free will to make that choice, but he knows what you're going to do.
Yeah.
It's interesting. It's hard to think about.
It is. It's a very complicated thing. Talking about the
yeah.
sovereignty of God, how He knows
Yeah.
all things, but also how we have
Absolutely.
human free will. Yeah, it's
Speaking of complicated and interesting, I do got to ask. So, how did you end up with the name Blue? Do you know?
I mean, the story is that that there was a show on TV and there was a dog named Blue. That's what my dad has always told me. I named you after a dog from a TV show. So
How does it explain?
I don't know. I don't know. So because I've got 2 brothers. I've got a brother named Cloud and a brother named Shade, and so it's Cloud, Blue, and Shade. And I don't know. I think it's just probably. I'm gonna guess, if I had to guess, that Dad, because Dad named us all.
Really?
Yes.
I really thought maybe your mom did.
They tell us that no, they made an agreement that Mom would name all the girls and Dad would name all the boys.
oh, she lost out so
3
bad.
boys, yeah. So, but I don't know. It was a confusing time back then, and I'm not sure that he was completely in control of all of his faculties whenever he came up with our names. So
He's like, I don't know, looks out the window. No, Blue.
it could be, yes, something like that.
It's
awesome.
It's cloudy out today, so you wanted his name Cloud? Sure.
And it's been okay being named Blue. It's an unusual name, right? But I feel like I got the best one out of Cloud, Blue, and Shade.
I think they're all cool, but I agree. I think yours is the best.
But it also
Sorry, guys.
it was tough in elementary school. I mean, I can remember being in first grade, being chased around the playground with Bo, a guy named Bo, who was a third grader, and he's like, "Blue, Blue eats green doo doo," and so that was
That's funny.
So I mean, there's some drawbacks to it, but I'm over it now. You know, I'm 44 now, and so it doesn't bother me anymore. So which is why I bring it up right now.
We went to school with a guy named Guy,
That's funny.
and we all called him Gay. We were like, "Oh, look, hey, Gay." Yeah, I wonder where that kid's at. He's probably foaming just thinking of me saying that. He's
probably
poor guy.
listening. Yes.
somewhere miles and miles away, he's like,
was it?
my picking on me twitches. I don't know somebody's talking about me.
All I can think of is Billy Madison. Someday I'm going to just get shot in the butt just out of nowhere. Like, he got me. Gay got me.
So,
Oh my gosh.
that's games. Actually, you have to think about names and stuff before you name your kids, because
So how'd you end up naming your kids? Because they all are like. Did you intentionally try to do that?
oh, listen, okay, there was. Me and Darby had disagreements about naming our kids because,
Okay.
like, I think she tried to give me like the benefit of the doubt and like engage in an honest conversation with me about naming our kids, and so. But I would love to have had a kid named Tar, like Tar Tidwell. Would have
Nice.
been great.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like it's just it'd be great anyway. But eventually, she has told me you don't get any say so in this anymore. So she named all of them.
Oh, okay. So
Nice.
did she name them all starting with C-A on purpose?
I don't know that it was C-A on purpose. Really, what it was we had Cambry picked out first. She wanted to name our girl Cambry. And so, but then Caedmon came along first, and so we named him after Caedmon's Call. I don't know if you guys remember the
That sounds familiar.
Christian band from back in the day.
Okay.
So,
Nice. We named Madison. Well, Shelley named her.
after Billy.
Right. I wanted to.
Was it?
that.
No,
That's good.
It's a combination of her parents. Her dad's name is Addison. That's why we spell it with T instead of D's.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna start calling Madison Billy from now on.
Right. Really.
Shampoo is better.
I love that.
Yeah.
I wanted to name her Starjammer.
See, those kind of names are great.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, that's a tough name.
Yeah.
And, well, when Grace came around, Shelley was like, what should we name her? Name her after your family. So I named her after my great-grandmothers that helped raise me. So she wanted to call Grace. It was Grace Ella, but she wanted to go Ella Grace. And I said, that's too close to Hella Grace. And I was like picking all these names that she picked. I was like roasting all these names. And she's
Yeah.
like, all right. And I was like, Grace Ella. Sounds better.
See, me and the wife, I didn't get to have say so in naming my little one. I won't tell that story, but I didn't get to say so in naming her.
Okay.
But I will say we've discussed if something happened and we did have a kid, that she would start. My wife always brings it up. She starts talking about names, and honestly, I don't care as long as it's not a name that can be picked on. And so, like, she'll start telling me names, and I'm like, "Yep, da 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 da."
Right.
And she's like, "You were mean, weren't you?" It's like,
Yes.
"Oh yeah."
you got to put yourself in a middle school mentality and then just roast your
and we're
kids. name.
guys. That's not hard.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
I so badly wanted a boy because I was like, George. You know, with the last name King, George, Richard, Lioness, you know. And then we thought Grace was going to be a boy. So I came up with Alexander Lee King. And I was like, that sounds awesome. Because we would have Maddie, Gracie, and Allie.
You need to have another one then.
Yep.
I've tried. But she went to the doctor.
So it's closed.
Did you know? I don't know. We won't chase that rabbit hole.
Right.
There. Just
And I'm 40. And so it's like, man, if I have another kid, that's 60. And I don't want to be that old guy.
60 isn't. Listen, I'm closer to 60 than you are. It's not that bad. Like, it's gonna
Right.
be all right at 60.
But
I think so. I think I'm gonna be good.
by the time I kick my kids out, I'll be like 50, almost 55. I'm like, that's good. That gives me 5 years to party. My wife and I can hang out, do our things.
Does life end at 60, I guess?
And then at 60 is grandkids. And then I can play and torture my grandkids till I croak. That's my goal.
Sounds like a good life.
But I'm like, but if I have kids and I'm 60 and then I'm kicking one kid out and torturing my grandkids, I don't want to. I want that little space so I can
Little
be
me
like,
time.
okay, so what do we do?
What are you going to do?
That's what I told Shelly. I said, what are we going to do? She said, we want to travel. I said, yeah, we'll sell the house and we'll just live in an RV and just, bum around. And she's like, no. I said, because, I'm annoying. Naturally, I'm an annoying person. So I'm like, we got to figure out something. We got like 5
So, like,
years.
I feel like whenever guys think about, we're going to travel, what they think about is, we're going to get an RV and we're going to go visit baseball fields and parks all around, the United States or something. When a woman talks about traveling, she's talking about going to like the south of France.
Right.
That's what they're talking about right there.
Dude,
So-
is there a France, Texas?
Yes,
There
there's a
is.
France, Texas. There's also a Paris, Texas.
I've been to Paris.
I will.
Look at that Eiffel Tower there, don't they? Yes, I've been there.
When I think about traveling, I think about that's expensive.
Yes.
No, it is.
Like it's what runs through my mind.
Uh-huh.
I do want to go on a cruise one day. I've just got to convince the wife. She has
They're
a
not-
problem with boats.
Listen,
Right.
They're like the cheapest way to have a vacation.
Right, that's what I keep hearing.
Yes, everything's all included and stuff. It's
Yeah.
great.
I think I'm going next month.
Yeah.
Are you really?
Yeah, he is. Him
Down
and-
into the Mediterranean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, the Mediterranean. The
Close enough.
Caribbean? Whatever, wrong part of the world.
It's the ocean.
You leaving out of Galveston? You don't even know, do you?
I
Are you just
don't.
going to get on a boat wherever
Yeah.
your wife tells you to go?
No, she don't even know it. I'm gonna drag her,
This is not.
and then she's gonna wake
Does she
up,
listen
and I'm
to
gonna
this
be
podcast?
no.
No, okay. She wouldn't listen this far in anyway.
But I'm gonna,
Right,
I'm
yeah.
gonna stop her in the car. I'm gonna hijack a sailboat, throw her on a sailboat.
What? Okay.
No,
so when you
I'm
talk about
joking.
cruising, that's what you're talking
No.
about. Okay.
She said, because it's our 15th anniversary, and
Yes.
she said, "What? Well,
Gotta
I
do
want to
it.
go on a
Yeah.
vacation. I want to go do something." I said, "Well, we've been talking about it for years. Let's go on a cruise." And so she set the whole thing up, and I'm just packing
And so
the
you're
bags
going-
and going.
That's good. Good for you guys. That's a good
Oh,
thing
yeah.
to do, man.
My kid's cheer coach, she does the traveling thing. And so she has like day one, you're going here and you're going to do all this.
Right.
So she has basically the whole thing. I love it because I don't have to think. I
Okay,
just pack
so but you
and
need
go.
to think about this because what cruises are very cheap, but then they upsell you with everything. So
Yes,
so they can
right.
get you on stuff. So you need to think about number one, a drink package. So like they're saying, look, you can get unlimited Cokes or whatever or something like that. It's really not worth it unless you drink 5 or more a day. Which man, my
Yeah.
first cruise, trying to drink 5 Cokes in a day. I'm just like, oh.
I don't think I drank 5 Cokes in a week.
Yeah, I know it. So it's like, no, we're not going to do that. So just be aware of those things.
I'm just concerned about water. Like, because I would rather just drink water. Cause
You can
but
drink
do they
water.
charge you
No.
for water?
Yeah.
No, you get water and tea
Yeah.
and
Okay.
lemonade for free.
See,
All you can want.
I can load up on
Pizza.
lemonade.
You go to pizza 2 a.m. and you're like, man, I just want to go get some pizza and ice cream, and it's up there and it's just right there. It's
But-
That's
great.
awesome.
I know we went to Port Aransas and we were on a boat and I was drinking soda all day long. I got on there. I won't do that. Man, on that boat and the rocks. And I don't
Yeah.
know if it was something about the carbonation, but I felt,
One more thing you need to know about your cruises, though.
what's that?
When you go sit down at the restaurant, they hand you a meal. It's all paid for, right? So they're like here's your starters, here's your entree, and here's your dessert, and you pick them, right?
right.
Don't pick just one entree. Like if it's like, oh, there's a steak right there. I want a steak. Give me 2 steaks, actually. I want 2 of these things right there, and they'll just bring it to you. Or
That's awesome.
Give me 3 desserts, and they'll just bring it to you.
I'm gonna look
So-
pregnant after a
I'm gonna
cruise.
gain so much
They
weight.
say that the average person gains, I think, 2.5 pounds per day on a cruise.
That's
Right.
a lot.
So yeah,
That is a lot.
That is a lot. Yes, you take a 5-day
Good
cruise or something, you come back
night.
weighing 12 pounds more.
I did lose it.
How do you lose it that fast? That's what the world wants to know.
I know when we went to London, we went there for 10 days and I lost almost 15 pounds there.
But you were walking everywhere.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
Even to the bathroom is on a different floor. So you would go up the stairs and then down half a stairs, and then yours is the bathroom.
I would do that
It's crazy.
every time. Every time we would come back from Africa and I would be in America, I would gain 20 pounds within the first month or so
Oh,
when I'm
yeah.
here.
Right.
But then I would lose it within the first 2 weeks back in Africa.
Because you're walking everywhere.
Because walking, but also I think probably because the
food's
And better.
The food,
portion.
the food is much more. It's not. There's not processed and
Right.
all the preservatives and everything, and so you can tell a difference in your body when you're eating outside the United States.
Dude, that is very interesting. It's funny too. So like if you I hunt and fish and I like eating food. I'm a fat kid, I like food. And you can sit and you can eat deer meat and you can 100% tell the difference between deer meat and anything else. But if you're a good cook, you can trick people's kids into eating it, say they don't like deer meat.
There you go.
We do
Yes.
it all the time.
We had tater tot casserole just the other day. My kids never knew.
Yep. And it was all deer meat.
I told them when we got done, that's pretty good for $1.
Yeah. they were like, they were getting seconds. But yeah, it is interesting. You look at the different things they put in meat. So if you were to go get a cow and you get a cow butchered, so you raised up a cow yourself and you took it for butcher and you got that meat, and you compare that steak from that cow that you took to the butcher to the steak you're going to buy from Walmart, they don't look the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's totally different.
Mm-hmm. Well, even in Africa, like the meat tastes totally different because they're just grass fed,
Yeah.
whatever. And they're not like injecting them with stuff and trying to make them fatter and all. It's just
And
here's
the-
what the cow is.
And
Absolutely.
the grass isn't treated and trampled
Right.
on. And
Yeah, there's not
mass production.
pesticides that are all everywhere and everything. Yeah.
Yep.
So it takes a while to get used to, but it just your body feels more healthy whenever you're out there.
Which is super nice.
What was awesome about London was it's like a hub. So I had curry from like an actual
Yes.
India place. It was
Uh-huh.
so good.
They're good. Yeah.
And we went with Shelley's college. It was the British literature, and I went as a chaperone. And so all these kids, we started going around. They went to McDonald's and Burger King, and I'm like,
And you're looking for fish and chips.
oh yeah, I had a list. I want bangers and mash, fish and chips. I wanted the whole experience.
Right.
Like I probably won't ever go here again. I'm getting all
There
of
you
the
go.
experience.
Yes.
And like the second day, we had one or two kids like, "Hey, where are y'all going?" Because we were talking about it at like the nightly meeting. I'm like, oh yeah, I went and found one of the street vendors that had olives and cheese, and it was so good.
My question is there a water thing over there like there is in Mexico?
Yes.
So don't
Yeah.
drink the water in London?
In Europe, I guess you can.
It's
Is it fishy?
it depends on where you're at. There's different parts.
So it's kind of sketchy. You just got to like play it by ear.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I was just recently for our 25th anniversary. We were in Barcelona, Spain, and
Yeah.
and there's like, yeah, you can drink it. It's fine. And so like, but they said it's going to taste really, really nasty. So we just did bottled water.
Oh wow, that's terrible.
Did
you can
you-
drink this, but it's going to be
Did
disgusting.
you have to read the labels? Because I never read. I just here in the States, you just grab water. Water's water. Over in London, it's all sparkling water, and there's this very small
Yes, that's still
small
yes.
part, and it's like, what am I drinking?
That's
And-
right. The sparkling water. I can't stand sparkling water. I
Me
just
either.
don't.
I make fun of David for it because he drinks it. I
You
can't
drink
stand it.
By the end of that trip, I was
got
hooked
hooked?
because I kept grabbing the wrong one, and I was like, "Oh, that one's
Okay,
flavored.
yeah, right.
That one's flavored."
I can't drink that stuff.
it's-
David makes fun of me, and I'm like, I can't. There's no way. I don't know how he drinks it.
It just.
It's
I can't do it.
disgusting.
I just quit
I just want
drinking
water.
That's
I
right.
just
The way
quit
God
drinking
intended.
sodas.
Yeah, thank you.
I just quit drinking sodas, and I'm like, man, I want a soda, and I got a Topo Chico, and man, it curbed it.
Nice.
At what point do you admit you have a problem?
What?
Just
It's
making
called
fun
Topo
of you.
Chico.
No, I'm
I
not
didn't
talking
know
about what it's called. I'm talking about.
I've never heard that.
It's like,
said. I
did
didn't
I
know
call
how
it
to
wrong?
pronounce it. I don't know how to pronounce it. So
I've always pronounced it Topo Chico, but I'm probably saying it wrong too. I was saying in the
Chico.
sense of that you had to get a sparkling water. I was saying it in a sense you had to get a sparkling
Oh,
water to
okay.
replace the fact that
I
you
thought-
wanted a soda that bad.
I was like, did I say-
I'm like, oh man.
Did I call it something different?
Yeah, I wasn't even
Yeah.
addressing that.
I did whenever. So one of the benefits of living overseas is that you're close to everything, and so we got some really cheap tickets. I think for my 35th birthday or something to go to Beijing, China. And so we're in
nice.
China.
Shut up.
Yeah. And so it's just, I mean, it's like it's really cheap just to get to China. And we're walking along the street, and there they are, man. They're selling a snake.
That's awesome.
Eat a snake on a stick. And so I told her I have to eat one of those.
Right.
Did you eat it?
Oh yes, I did.
Was it good?
No, it's disgusting. It's very gummy. I think, but it was not cooked, and so like you order it and then they grill it right there, and I feel like they didn't cook it all the way through. It was kind of like real gummy.
Did you
like,
get sick?
No, I didn't. But
That's
of
good.
course, we've
Okay.
been living in Africa, so it's like
Right.
we
You're
kind
used
of
to some
developed,
stuff, yeah.
just drinking
See,
stuff.
I would
you know?
probably
Yeah.
get in trouble. I would be walking up and down just telling them, you're wrong and we're number one.
Actually, when we showed up, so we go, and I mean, everything's in Chinese, obviously, right? And so we printed out a thing from our hotel, and they said just get off of the airplane and hold this thing up. And so we did. We went and we held it up, and some guy came by and he's pointed, and we went and we got in his taxi, and he drove us to the hotel. So I have no idea what it is. But anyway, we got there, and the hotel people, they told us, they're checking us in. They said, I want you to know you are not in America. You're in China. We are watching you.
Oh my
So,
gosh!
yeah, they said the government is watching you, so be aware. So they took our passports, had to be kept there at the hotel desk. They had to keep them right there for us, and they just said, just so you know, they're watching you, everything you do. So
Oh wow!
It's a little scary.
it's a little bit creepy, yes, and
See,
also
this
because
is-
you're there for your birthday, 35 years old, in your birthday, and then you get to your hotel room and you're thinking,
There's cameras in here.
yes. So it's
Sleeping
like
with my clothes on.
I don't really know, can't really relax or anything. So yeah.
Right.
Yep.
All right, well, let me tell y'all. I want to tell y'all one more thing right here because then
Okay.
I got to leave in the morning. So I don't know how long these things are supposed to go for,
dude,
but
yeah.
we're just rolling right.
Yeah,
I've
we're
got
just
to tell
rolling.
you, going along with our conversation about with kids and just dealing with stuff and just leadership even and just being together with people because it's difficult sometimes. I remember because we had a lot of dealing with the headmen over in Zambia and meetings forever, like just to do anything, and you want to, I don't know, you want to build a road, and anyway. So it takes a long time. Anyway, we're sitting around one day, and this the headman, old guy, and he says, I need to tell you what we say here. And so everybody stops because you're giving respect to this old man, and so he tells us, and he says, Matago alantomwe, taguvuri ujumbana. And everybody just goes, and I'm like, what is it? Like, this is it's like deep wisdom coming from the heart of Africa right here. Like, this is going to change my life because it's like, there's so many things going on. It's difficult leading people and families and all this stuff. And I was like, man, you have to translate this. I told my friend, you got to translate that for me. And so he said, well, here's what it means, Blue. This is one of our proverbs. We live our life by it. And it's just like this. The butt cheeks are always together. There's never a time when there's not friction.
Hey,
That is amazing.
I like it.
And so I feel like from that point on, I just started living my life that way. You know, like just this is something to base your life on. Is like just the butt cheeks are always together, man. There's
We
never a
need to
time when
make
there's
a
not friction.
shirt. with it in Africa.
Matako Alantomo Tago Woody Gujumbana. Yeah, that would be a great one to do.
For the record, ladies and gentlemen, that is Tonga.
It's Tonga. Yes, it's Chitonga. Not to be confused with what's spoken in the Tongan Islands.
Yeah.
So, which is also Tonga, but this is Chitonga, a Bantu language spoken in southern Zambia and northern Zimbabwe. So
Nice.
So we learn to say that, but you learn all kinds of things to help you with life. So actually what that means is, look, if you're together with people, you're with family, there's always going to be friction when you're dealing with people. In the church, there's always going to be friction. In your family, there's always going to be friction. In life, if you're in close quarters with people, it's going to be.
But the way they explain it is talking about butt cheeks.
It's so much better. Like it's so much more enjoyable.
It is so much, yeah.
So
Oh, that's good.
yeah.
I'm a child, and I couldn't help but laugh at that. The whole if they were standing there and he told me that, and everybody's over there, yep, I'd be laughing, dying in the background. They'd be like, "You're terrible."
The Tonga proverbs are actually how I got out of all of my tickets when I was over there because I got pulled over by cops a lot.
Oh, I bet so.
Yeah, because it's like if you're going 1 kilometer over the speed limit, they'll pull you over, and so I developed a strategy of just stringing together every Tonga proverb that I knew, all at once, and just saying them back to back. And it doesn't make any sense, I guess, when you do it. But by the time I get to the very end, then the police officer just laughing so much, he just lets me go.
He's like, all right, this guy's goofy.
Nice.
Yeah.
It was
Well, it is about that time, Mr. Blue. Would you like to say a prayer for us?
Man, yeah, I will. And you guys, I've enjoyed this. This has been fun.
I'm glad.
I feel like, though, we could just sit here and talk for...
Dude, like, we could. I would love to get you on a part 2.
It makes me think that... I used to think that, like, Joe Rogan and them, like, how could you ever sit down and just talk for 3 hours with someone and
It's
stuff?
so easy.
It's crazy how easy.
With you two, I guess. It's just,
It's because we're special. Sorry, I'm terrible.
It's enjoyable. I have really enjoyed this. I also like the emphasis that you guys are saying, hey, we want to bring this back to God.
Yeah.
And talk about real things and talk about life, but also let's keep him at the forefront of our minds, and everything's going to come back to him. So,
Yeah.
And also want you guys to know publicly, so that everybody knows out there, that I really do look at you guys and think, man, they are very intentional about raising their kids. I like watching you guys with your families. Keep it up. God has put you there for a reason, right? Like,
Well, thank you.
Out of all the people in the world, He picked you to be your kids' dads, which from the outside looking in may think that God made a mistake or whatever. But God doesn't make mistakes like He did. And you guys are doing well at it. So do not give up. Don't quit. Don't get discouraged, and don't say, well, this is too hard, or well, I've done my job. No, continue on. So
I like
Well,
it.
thank you.
yeah. So let's pray together. God, I thank you so much for the chance to be here, hang out with these guys. Lord, I thank you for the way that you have impacted our lives, and for your calling on our life. And Lord, I pray that we would be people who lead well in a way that honors you, but also people who are in our families and being diligent to raise our kids well. God, I just thank you for the chance to be here, for your love for us. It's in the name of Jesus I pray. Amen.
Amen.